obviously we've had a lot of these topics on our mind before. We touched on the Great War or World War I earlier in songs like Cliffs of Gallipoli, The Price of a Mile, Angels Calling, Lost Battalion and such. So it's not news for us, we've been there before, but it felt right now to do it. It's a very important conflict.
We felt it was about the right timing. If there would be any right time in Sabaton history, it would be this time, to do a full concept album about this topic.
100 years ago since a major conflict in history, and we thought it was time to honor the sacrifices made.
We have had so many requests over the past years to do something about World War I, and we have had a lot of ideas spamming our mailboxes. We have had so many things coming in, and there are so many stories that the people want to share these days, because normally World War I is not as popular topic as World War II. But the past couple of years there have been so many things talking about it, because we are now like 100 years coming up.
The darknet in itself is an attraction in a way. It's truly represented in the music. This album is a bit darker than The Last Stand, for example.
There is also the fact that Sabaton at this time have a different leg. We have the Sabaton History channel, where we have several people who is historians, and one of them is Indy, who is the host of the Sabaton History channel, and he is kind of a specialist at World War I, because previously he did the biggest documentation about World War I that has ever happened.
The music is also influenced heavily by the topic we choose. And in many cases that's where the great interactions come. You get twists and turns you wouldn't expect otherwise. For example, the song The End of the War to End All Wars. Already when writing that piece of music, we knew that we wanted to do a retrospect of the whole conflict while doing it, which made it a very different track. I mean, it doesn't have the same song structure as a normal song would at all. So it makes for interesting twists and turns, but absolutely I would say that the somberness and pure depression of the topic itself has definitely influenced the songwriting, which makes this, I would say, a bit of a darker and harder album than the two previous ones.
As we do the research for an album, there's always things coming up that we didn't even know about before. And it is a constant thing about history that all of it is never unfolded yet. The more you dig, the more you find out, the more you search, the more you will know. And that is one of the most driving forces behind doing more research in history.
As the drum roll started on that day, but 100 miles away.
I like that pose, and it gave me some sort of emotional response. And the more I looked at it, the better it became. In a way, it's weird to explain for me how I went from an instant, gut reaction. Emotionally, it hit me, but visually, it didn't appeal to me. But maybe that's the point. I mean, if you look at it today, the end result, I think it's the best artwork we ever had.
We were working with our long-term relationship with Peter Salai, who has been a close friend of the band since 2012, when he did the first artwork for Carolus Rex. And I speak with him weekly or daily, or when we are doing an album artwork, I speak with him every hour. We didn't just work with an album artwork that is like a square format, because we think that there are so many more things to do with it. And in the end, we are very satisfied with the end result.